Okie dokie, we're back in Trailmakers. I had a bit of mucking around to do because when I first spawned my vehicle in, it was not behaving. It was going haywire. So yeah, basically I'm using playing Trailmakers not just as a way to pass the time, but also to have a bit of an experiment with my streaming and my video editing software, because there's a lot of features such as screen capture that I just haven't played around with yet. My first 70-minute video that I recently put up, the first Trailmakers video, I was using the webcam on my laptop, which was convenient, but there was a sound delay between the audio and video on the webcam, and I couldn't actually separate the two audio tracks or the two video tracks in the software, so it just recorded one whole overlay. And although I was able to lip sync the audio, that caused a delay in the video footage by about half a second or so. So today I'm recording the screen without the webcam, and I'm just using my phone up there, and I'm going to just go ahead and see if I can't stitch these two videos together manually, and that should be a little higher quality video as well for me. Not that you really need to see my face, but this is just me playing around, having an experiment. So yesterday I left off after just recovering one piece of salvage with this barely passable submarine. Because of the articulating body, it makes for some interesting vehicle physics. So it's not by any means perfect, but I figure while I'm streaming this, we'll have a bit of a play around with it and see if we can't get it to improve. So straight ahead I can see, I don't know whether that's a bit of salvage or just a bit of gold, but we'll try and get our vehicle over there to have a look. This vehicle is fairly stable so long as you're not trying to do anything too crazy. Like once we start getting it upside down, it's a little bit harder to manage and get back around. But considering what we started with, it certainly is one hell of an improvement. Now, I was having a play with the settings. My first few attempts at recording, I wasn't getting any audio. So I'm going to be very annoyed if I have to use the audio that I've got on the camera up here instead of my microphone, which is plugged in a little further down. I had my microphone up here, but it's not high quality, and it was just, there was a lot of feedback, a lot of reverberation, and I've actually found that it works better having it further away from my voice, which, as you know by now, is grating and annoying, and the further away from it you are, the better. Same goes for the microphone. I don't really mean that. So we're doing a very stately 20 kilometers an hour underwater. Now my side-to-side stability isn't great on this vehicle. It's actually really hard to tilt straight again. But with a bit of patience, you can more or less point it where you need. It's sort of all right for getting around, but it's really hard to actually point. So what we can do is we'll just scoot around and collect these bits of gold that are on top of these underwater pillars. Because that we can do. Alright, so down there on the left there is a bit of salvage, which I'll try and bring up next. Right, now we are currently pointed goodness knows where. We do have a bit of a dolphin diving vehicle. It is fairly agile going up and down. There's not much I can do about that side-to-side stability with the blocks that I've got. Small pontoon. Which I don't understand why they gave us the medium-sized one before the small one. The small ones are pretty well useless. Right, I need to be able to turn this crate around. I'll inflate my pontoons a little. Too much. There we go. Now, last time I got better stability by pointing it down like so. And the same seems to be true today. So I can see one of my beacons up above the water in that direction. So we'll try and get this little beastie up. What we can actually do is I'll inflate my pontoons all the way, bring us up to the surface. We are a little bit unstable here, of course. I'm hoping that once we float, let's see. There we go. We'll get a bit better balance lifting it up out of the water like that. We're a little bit more stable, acting like a boat. And you can see how the weight of this salvage affects the balance of the vehicle in the water. That one closer, we'll head over there. I think I was aiming for that one over there underwater, but there's another piece of floating salvage over there. We'll go back and fetch that in just a minute. You do tend to spend a lot of the time just travelling along at a very stately pace, which I'll grant isn't the most interesting to watch, but you don't really notice while you're playing so much. There's some leftovers of my last vehicle that's for whatever reason the game did not like. I was wondering if I could still control the front wheels on that piece, but no. Let's just drop that in there. You can spawn extra vehicles like trailers and things, but the more little vehicles you have spawned, the buggier the game gets. So it is just easier just to spawn one vehicle at a time. I mean, having trailers and things is pretty cool, but it is also really impractical to try and go and get multiple pieces of salvage because the balance is near impossible. Alright, so I think for the purpose of this, I like creating evolutions of a single vehicle, but I want to be able to do more than maybe not even 30 k's an hour on the water. So what I'll do, we're going to create a new vehicle. The diving bell's actually lighter than the seat, and this way it won't respawn us if we happen to dolphin bob underwater. Now, once I get my rotating servos, I'll be able to make a pretty cool underwater vehicle just by mounting engines on the side of the diving bell. But we don't really have enough to make that stable. So what we're doing here, just making something super simple. That worked about as well as I was expecting. So what I will do, I don't have much in the way of actual building blocks yet, so it's a little bit difficult to make anything too classy. I might see how these small pontoons go. So why did my screen just flash now? My camera. Alright, let's check out flotation. And see, this is why I don't like the small pontoons. They're not enough even to hold up the weight of the diving bell. I wonder how many of these I would have to actually add to get something floating. So what, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got 8 small pontoons. And it's barely enough to make me float. Oh, that's no good. It just respawned me. And swim up to the surface faster than this machine floats. Okay, so pretty safe to say that these small pontoons aren't really going to do really any good. That's actually just tipped us upside down. That's funny. Alright. So once we add the weight of some of these underwater propellers, that's good. So what if I try putting these flotation devices here? We've got a really, really good dolphin bobber. Whee! Obviously, we've got no means of steering at the moment. Apart from just balancing. That's alright, actually. This is why I chose the diving bell. Because if you did this in the regular cockpit, you'd just spawn out. Whee! This is actually really fun, considering there's no means of steering. Alright, so let's pull these out one block. This will also add some stability. We'll use our large steering hinge. There. On there. Okay. I always forget about that steering from the rear. You've got to reverse them. That's not terrible, actually. Right. Problem is the engines won't stay in the water long enough to really propel us. So I need a bit more balance up front. I have a sneaking suspicion that having the medium pontoon up here will create a balance issue. These engines just launch us out of the water. There's such a difference in the medium pontoon and the small pontoon in terms of balance. I've got two small pontoons on there and they're not even enough to lift the vehicle out of the water, whereas that medium pontoon almost flips us upside down. So I'm beginning to get a little bit frustrated with that. Are we floating? Reasonably so. I'm just feathering the throttle now, just trying to keep our boat underwater. I've basically made an overpowered jet ski here. And it would be quite fast if I could keep it underwater. I might lose these two. Where our aerodynamic blocks. I'm going to put that there, and hopefully that will help create created a bit too much drag, also because of the extra weight. So now I'm wondering if I'm better off to move these down here. There we go, that's a bit more stable already. Now, what kind of block? Wedge. That would have been a good enough block for me to do what I was trying to do on the front there. It can be really easy to overlook the practicality of the aerodynamic blocks, but they really do have a physical difference in the game. So this is not the best little boat I've ever made. but it is a fairly effective little submarine. I think what I want to do... I'm going to lose that off the front. Once I get my proper paddles, this will be far more effective. But what I want to do is create a bit of a... bit of a nose diving. This might make it too front heavy now. Oh, but that's exceptionally maneuverable now. Now we go up and down, and it is a lot easier to make dedicated vehicles for the environment because I've got this machine that is a lot more maneuverable than the contraption that I started with, which is fine for going around and collecting bits of gold like that. But the downside there is, of course, that, well, we can't drive it up on land. Wondering what these pontoons will do for the balance of this little vehicle. This is fantastic. And it floats. It's a lot faster on top of the water than it is I am going to add an extra engine under here. Now we're very base heavy, but we're quite fast and quite manoeuvrable now. So this was our wedge, wasn't it? Whee! I'm not sure that third engine has done me any favours, to be honest. Now, I'm probably going to ruin the dynamics of these aerodynamic blocks, unfortunately, adding this weight. Still floating. That's not unreasonable turning. And actually, I think that added weight up front has actually helped me. Dive. Alright, let me find that wedge block again and we'll see what we can do about getting it up to land. Now, I want to try and pick this up as close to centre as I can. Got that done. We're sort of hanging it underneath, which isn't great for us because it wants to pull us down, but because I've got this articulating front end, we should be able to compensate for that. Okay. What we want to do is try and get it up onto land. This vehicle certainly is more stable in the water than the other one. But my problem is, of course, is that it's not amphibious. Whee! Uh-oh, up. And this is the problem that I'm going to have in the shallow water, is that my engines are all sticking out. There's nothing I can do about it. And if I turn it off, that salvage will probably reset. Oh. No, that's good because it was already underwater. That gives me an opportunity to go down there and pick it up. If we can get it higher. Nope, higher. It's just dragging us down, dragging us down. What I might try to do we're going to hang that motor at the front, which should give us an extra opportunity to move in the water. If at least one engine is underwater, we have some measure of control. Down, down, down. I'm beginning to call this one Old Faithful. Because this one, of course, I can tilt to get the weight where I need it to. There was no way that boat was getting up on top of the landing either. It wasn't balanced well enough to carry that salvage. And we don't yet have enough power cores to make a really big machine. Okie dokie. So, we've used 4 out of 4 power cores on this one. So what I've got here, I've got this machine on quick, and now I can automatically stick it in this one. Not super fast, and I think that these pontoons are actually causing maybe a bit too much drag. We really didn't need them in there. Look at that balance. Now if I can tilt that motor under there. So we are substantially slower underwater, but this machine has been surprisingly capable so far. Here we go, another piece of gold. I tend to always forget the headlights until I need them. There's the remains of our crashed spaceship. Now, I think, if memory serves, this is like a beach ball dispenser or a concrete block dispenser or something. Beach ball dispenser has absolutely no practical purpose. Alright, let's see if Old Faithful has a chance of getting this big piece up. You'll always have better luck if you can balance the center of gravity. Let's inflate all our pontoons and see how we go. I just don't think we have enough flotation to actually lift this thing off the surface. Off the floor, I mean, to the surface. I've got no need for a beach ball dispenser, so I'm not even going to bother. Right, so I think we might go in exploring some underwater caves, and I'm going to transform back into this one. Oh, I forgot to save my headlights, wouldn't you know? There we go, that was harder than it needed to be. Okay, so with our headlights back in, let's see what we can discover One of the things I do enjoy about this game is there's plenty to discover in each environment. I mean, the floating islands in the sky are a bit dubious, but it makes for some pretty fun gameplay, I will admit. Alright, well this machine isn't really any faster underwater than this one is. Power core. These things really are worth the struggle. And it's not so heavy that I can't actually control it or steer. It's very slow going, of course. Alright. We'll inflate my pontoons. We'll get up onto the surface and hopefully we can pick up a bit of speed while we're there. Not upside down, please. Okie dokie. Very slow going. Very strangely balanced too. Right, so I've used 4 power cores on this machine. There's one for the tractor beam, one each for the underwater motors, and one for the engine to drive the wheels. Now with this extra power core that I've picked up, I'll be able to put an extra underwater propeller in there, which I'm going to stick on the back, which should help with the speed and the steering ability too. Because plodding along at 25 k's an hour is exactly as frustrating as you'd imagine. The more power cores you can pick up, the more engines you can put on. Obviously, the faster you can go. Go.
This power core is required for your
spaceship. No, it's required for my engine. Oh, that's why I didn't do it like that. Because if I hang an engine under there, it's going to interfere with the wheels. So I wonder... Here's what I might do. I might rotate that one up. Oh, I can't. Can I? That should still clear. Then I'll use my new 1x2 block, which I can use to connect it all. You appear to be clearing. Once I get some bigger wheels, that won't become such an issue. Now, because of our extra engine on the back, picked up some speed. Okie dokie, it's time to get up onto a new area now. I think that was our original island. I do want to get up there, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be difficult. I'll make that my next challenge. We'll get up onto that island there, because if memory serves, that's where we're going to get most of our aircraft parts. And that's my next challenge, to get into the air. Really wouldn't mind an upgraded wheel or two. Up we go. Now, that engine is dragging along the ground effectively. So what I want to do is just lower... Oops, wrong one. Lower everything down by a block. This is what it was doing earlier. Stop it! Right. So I've lifted that rear engine up off the ground. It hasn't really negatively affected the balance of the vehicle, which is good. Right, let us get up here. Excellent. Right, I am going to save my vehicle and make sure that I've got it on my transformation page. And at nearly 45 minutes in, I'd better stop there. I'll see how this stream goes, and then we'll jump back into it next time.